Hi everybody, it's Kimberly, and I just want to say very blessed 111 of the year 11 to you guys. As you know, 2018 reduces to a master number 11. So it's another powerful day in a month that's just high-packed with very powerful alignments. Today is the alignment with Mars and the moon, the new moon, and one other planet in Scorpio. It's huge. I'll think of it later. And then the end of this month we have another full moon, and so that makes 2 supermoons in the month of January. It's like bookends on this amazing month. So what a way to start the year. So I tried to record this video. I started it about 6 or 7 times. Actually, I wasn't doing a video. I was just going to do a recording because I actually am going to be reading to you a channeled message. It's really, really powerful. And I started that message so many times that finally I just stopped and I just sent up a little quick prayer and said, you know, what am I supposed to do? And then all of a sudden cards. And I was like, oh, they want me to do a reading. That's why I'm supposed to start with the reading, and then I'll read the channeled message. So here we go. Let's see what the cards have in store for us right now. And I just ask that all of our guides and angels will come in, and especially Archangel Michael, put his blue light of protection around us as we do this reading, and that there will be messages that will come through for each one of us, and everybody that's listening will have something that comes through just for them that will be meaningful at this time. So let's go ahead and get this going. Wow. Oh my goodness, that is amazing. Wow. All right, so we've got some really, a lot of wands energy. Look at this, you guys. It's all wands, and then the sun, which is also fire, of course. So we just have so much energy coming in right now. It's mind-blowing. And like I was just saying, the energies for this month alone and this year, I just feel such a shift. So first of all, we'll start at the base, and look at, we have the King and the Queen of Wands are facing each other. They're both turned toward each other, and the sun is right behind them. This is a new day. This is the dawn of a new day. This is all about new beginnings, in a sense, because the sun is like a new beginning. But I feel these two people, they don't feel like it's really a new beginning. I feel like they are well aware that they've reached this point that they're at right now because they have been, you know, in it for the long haul. The second row here, we have this card that really talks about, you know, having victory, but it's a halfway card. It's saying you're halfway there. You've made a lot of progress. You've fought some battles, and you're being honored for the fight and for the victory that you've had so far. But there's more battles to come, or there's more, more things to attain. It's not over yet. And in fact, we see that in that we have the Page of Wands next. They're both facing that same direction. And this guy's going on a journey, and of all of the pages, this is the one that's the most, I would say most intentional. Everything about what he does is very specifically thought through and very careful. You see, he's very careful in his attire and how he's dressed. And he has a plan. He has a creative idea. This little feather in his hat right above his third eye is that creativity coming in, and he has a plan to, I feel like I just got this up his sleeve. That's what came to me, popped into my head right now, is he's got something up his sleeve. And you even see how, like, one arm is covered by the sleeve and the other one you can see it, or covered by the jacket, the other one you can see a sleeve. But in either case, it is a guy who has a plan. And this plan has come about because of the progress he's made so far, and now he wants to take it a step further. And that really that's like both of these, both the King and the Queen are coming together energetically, because we have wands. It's all about energy, and they're energetically on the same page as far as this plan. This plan is joint between the two of them. See this? It's right there crowning the two of them. And when you have, like, there's a saying about the wind in your sails, or the wind at your back, and the sun, of course, we know makes wind, and we even see the the flag is blowing here. And so there's kind of like a new wind in our sails. The sun is shining and bringing out this ability to move forward. And again, we just kind of have this movement, We see the energy coming this way from the left to the right in this flow. And then from the left to the right is significant because it's from the feminine side, and we even have the feminine on the left, and then we have the masculine on the right. And the same thing with the Eight of Wands. We have this flow of energy that has started with the feminine, and it's been, flowing through her, and it's flowing into the masculine, and then we see the masculine rising up and taking action. This is joint action on behalf of both of them, but because we have the Emperor at the bottom of the deck, I have a very strong feeling that it's about the masculine now really standing up, and it's his turn to really begin to take steps and make, like, she's part of this because it's been her inspiration, her thoughts, her ideas. She has had that creative mind. She's the one that saw the possibilities. She's the one that sensed, the connection, and then began creating all of what we're experiencing now in her mind in the 5D, and now it's up to the masculine to bring it into the 3D. So the masculine is the one that literally goes on the journey, but it's because of the inspiration of the feminine behind him that he goes on this journey. And this is just really blowing me away, you guys, because this is exactly, no surprise there, this is exactly what, is in my message that I'll be reading and what I've been experiencing. So what I'm about to read to you I wrote it on the 1st of January 1st. So I was on this long journey. Speaking of journeys, I had taken my kids with me down to California for Christmas to see my family, and that we decided to go by train. And I bought the tickets way ahead of time, and it was an inexpensive way to travel, and it was just a fun experience. I've always kind of wanted to travel by train. And then my son flew home from there, and my daughter and I went on across the country all the way on the southern route from California to Texas, and we spent several days in Texas, and then we continued our journey all the way through the southeast and ended up in Savannah, Georgia, where I spent another 3 days there, and then went on down to Florida before we went home. And when I was on this journey, I was so, just feeling so positive the whole time, like knowing that I was on this journey for a reason. And I found out later from doing a, asking in a channeled session with my friend that she and I do a lot of this work together. And I asked, why was I guided to take this trip, this journey? And it really came out that there was there was a possibility that I would see my twin on this trip, which was what I had intended. And then the second thing, but it was still like what she was saying, it's up to him. He will be presented with the opportunity to do it, but it's up to him whether he takes it or not. But it's still, like union for us is still a little ways out, but not much further. But this was a possibility. But the other main purpose would be for my daughter, and that it would really be expanding her horizons. And then some other things come up in this message that I'll read to you in a minute. So, I felt really positive about, everything on this trip. But then I was walking around on New Year's Eve night in Savannah on the 31st and feeling really quite, feeling very content and watching everybody enjoying themselves and celebrating and everything. But by the next morning, I started feeling, down. And here it was, 1:11, and I was like, oh, I should be happier, but it just like all of a sudden going into that kind of darker place that we, do occasionally go into. And one of the things that I do when that happens is channeling and receiving messages from my higher self or angels or whatever can really be a good, kind of coping skill. But I did that, but it didn't really seem to help at the time. And I'm going to do some of these cards after I'm done reading. So at the time it didn't seem to help, but I know I snapped out of that, that kind of down or dark place after a little while, and again just felt so blessed in every aspect of my journey. But it wasn't until just this morning that I got on my computer and this message just was sitting on my desktop, and I was just, guided to read it. And as I read it, I knew immediately I needed to share it with you guys. There's a lot of things in it that are pretty personal, but I've blacked out some of them, but for the most part I'm sharing it to you exactly how I wrote it, how I received it. And I know that there are many of you out there who will be, who will feel this message as in a personal way. It's speaking to you as well. And so that's why I feel like I, need to share it and will give you some hope and some encouragement. One final thing before I read it, I want to say that after I channeled this, about 5 days later, I had a session with my friend, and she was channeling for me and received some information from my twin flame's higher self. And later on, when I was reading this just now, there's a portion in here, and I'm not going to point out what portion it is because that's not really material to you specifically, but there is a portion in this that's exactly, and received even more details about it, but something that's happening with my twin that is totally about all this movement, huge, huge, huge movement. And this movement is bringing about union, it's headed that direction. But to have received it from her about a week or so after I had channeled it for myself, and in even more detail, was just mind-blowing as I read it just now. So it really gave me an idea. I know that I have had some people asking for sessions, and I am going to begin offering sessions again. So I'm going to be putting together kind of like a protocol that will go with the sessions, where I'll send you a pre-recorded message that will kind of give you directions on, or maybe a written message on some guidelines on how to channel. And what I'm thinking is, if you spend 3 or 4 days before we have our session channeling your higher self, your twin's higher self, allowing things to come through, writing down any signs and different things that you have along the way, and then just setting it aside, like not even looking at it again. And then we'll have a session together. I'll do cards. I do channeling also of your twin's higher self. We can also add to that, we'll have a couple of different packages that you could also receive a message from Lisa as well. So we'll, have that as an option. And then I want to, kind of set up the opportunity for you to receive this confirmation messages through me, through, the cards and the information that I receive from your higher self, and then also correlating it with what you receive, because this can be such a powerful and encouraging way of, helping ascertain where you're at in your journey, that you're on track, that, where things are headed. And some really specific things have come through as I've really began working so much more intently in the last 6 months, that it's just really been mind-blowing. Right, so here we go. I often start my sessions when I'm channeling where I'm just expressing my thoughts and feelings first. So that's where it starts, and then my higher self starts speaking. I just want love. I want to experience fathomless depths of love with someone whose soul is a kindred spirit with mine, a true divine love. That love that I know exists and believe is possible, but somehow when it comes down to it in this 3D realm, it seems so unlikely, so far away, so many barriers. It has come to me that this is the very thing we've come to break through, this barrier to believing in love. In these human forms, we have so many blocks and barriers to love, and we create even more through lifetimes of sorrow, disappointment, hurt, rejection, abandonment, and so on. But I know that these are nothing more than frames of mind. The real truth of our identity as souls, having a human experience, is one of unlimited love. We came here to stretch and push against these boundaries so that we would grow ever more mindful, artful, and powerful within our soul. If it were easy, we wouldn't have wanted to do it. So here I am, talking myself back around to the knowing of why I chose this and why I must still persevere in the face of every obstacle and barrier. Please talk to me now. Elucidate further for me the nuggets of truth that I can gain from the experience I am having right now on this particular trip and this journey in general. My dear one, you are being lovingly guided and directed in all that you do, but it is truly you doing the guiding and the directing. As you have noted before, there is an essence of you that is high above all the circumstances of day-to-day life, that has more knowing, understanding, seeing, hearing, and ability to judge accurately for the highest good than the aspect of you that is in the thick of things on earth. This part of you is still you, although you identify it as me, Aria. Know that you are only calling forth your own inner wisdom when you ask to speak to me in this way. This is an important distinction, and I'm very glad that although you think of me as separate from you, you are beginning to grasp this. From this standpoint, then I will offer you insights. As you know, these thoughts, ideas, and perceptions are coming from you, but because, in a certain sense, it is the higher, wiser, older you which is outside of your current conscious mind, it seems separate from you. And because you must access this knowledge with careful intention and reach to a place beyond your conscious mind, the process of achieving this through channeling what feels like a source beyond or outside of you is certainly acceptable. So in light of that, I move forward and will continue to allow a personification of your higher self as me to be thought of as separate and outside of you, even though technically it is not. This is simply the nature of the veil. The more you work to stimulate your thought processes in the deliberate task of reaching into your higher or inner mind, the better you get at crossing the bridge or the veil, and it will become such second nature to do this. You will be able to trust your ability, your thoughts, your ideas, your instincts, your first impulses, as being those which were garnered through this connection. This is truly accessing the unlimited knowing of your universe's chest, because that is the channel through which this communication comes. Yes, it is your third eye activation that makes it possible, but there is something even more than just your third eye that is at work here. At some point we may go into this further if you wish, but for now, that would sidetrack the primary point of the conversation I want to have with you about this. As you have already realized, the veil that will come down, that blocks 3D minds from having a true knowledge of who they really are as souls and where they came from, is a veil of the mind that only exists because of a pattern of thought or belief. It is commonly believed that the shift will somehow magically make this veil disappear, that it will be shed or fall away because of some outside force. This is not really so. The veil disappears because the conscious mind of the 3D human begins to tear it down. Yes, there is a collective power to this veil that makes it difficult for each individual to transcend it on their own, but in a sense, this is what is required. You have already begun to break the veil down. This is the process of awakening and ascension. Knowledge is power, and it is by knowing, learning, and believing things that as yet you cannot see that the veil becomes thinner and thinner. Of course, there's also a role of the increase in energy that will make this easier and easier to do, but it is symbiotic in nature. As your power, wisdom, and faith and love grow stronger, the veil becomes thinner, and as the veil thins, your power, wisdom, faith, and love grow stronger still. As this happens to those around you, the process speeds up even more and gains strength, and everyone is aided and assisted in the process of change. This is the shift in the collective consciousness that you are well aware of. So what does this have to do with the twin flame journey in general, and your travels and experience now in particular? You are way showers. You have come to remake the way of experiencing and expressing love. Every barrier to true, unconditional love must be broken down to do this. You know from your own experience that there are many barriers. Very few people on earth actually live in a state of divine unconditional love for themselves or with others. Divine love simply cannot be truly given or experienced because of all the blocks and layers of pain, hurt, suffering, and rejection, abandonment that are energetically etched into the human psyche. The twin flame union is only possible when these patterns are reprogrammed. That takes time, and it is this particular function and the nature of twin flame connection that makes it possible. Few other beings on other worlds have suffered a similar situation as the deep karmic wounds that block divine unconditional love on earth. Those which have had similar developments were not quite this severe. In those cases, divine partners who volunteered before incarnation to clear these particular patterns were eventually able to do so, and with greater ease. It is for this particular circumstance on earth that twin flame pairs were created. The task you've taken on is monumental and difficult, but it is not impossible. So then I asked, so what is the key to twin flame union? I've thought several times that I'd found it, and it seems as if everyone is looking for it, hoping there is a single key, a magic potion or formula, if you will, that if you only follow it, you'll achieve this longed-for event. And then she answers, to us, there is a very simple answer to this question. Yes, there is a single key. The problem lies in the fact that the human mind is not able to take and use this key in a simple, straightforward way. If you were, there would be no need for twin flames or for a twin flame mission to begin with. So for me to answer your question by simply telling you the key would be it would seem somewhat like a lie. If I told you the key was thus and thus, you and many other twins would say, but I've done thus and thus over and over again and still no union. This is where the complexity of not only the individual being how their psyche will have its blind spots that are unable to see the areas which have not been affected by the efforts of using the key, as well as their twin counterpart, the twin flame collective and the human collective as a whole. Everything is connected, and because you are all working to unscramble and untangle a very complicated mess, it is not so simple and straightforward in your mind or your experience as it is from our perspective. So then I asked, what is the key? And she says, the key is unconditional love. It is that simple. But the human psyche and energy is not in tune and in harmony with this vibration. That is what you've come to achieve, to heal, to do, to live, and to be. The key is the problem, but it is also the cure. Quite a conundrum, is it not? So I said, Aria, I think I understand this, but for a moment here, even though I see the amazing progress in my own experience over the last 4 years, in the last year in particular, it seems as if the bar still hasn't moved any closer to union. I really want to see the fruits of my labors. I know I feel it in my own life, and I truly believe that as coming more fully into unconditional love in my own experience for myself, I've seen amazing, incredible changes, but I want these changes to encompass more than just for me, for my children, and in my work. I want to have and experience it in my life as a fruit in the form of union and with my beloved. What more must be done? How much in the space of unconditional love do we have to be? My dear, this is where the human mind falls short. You are still in your 3D body and your planetary mind wanting to be in control of everything. The planetary mind sees things from the perspective of black and white, or right and wrong, or of either or of with or without, and so on. It sees only the stark contrast, but fails to see the infinite shades of gray in between. It sees in black and white, and is unable to recognize the infinite shades of color in between. Your perception is of being without the union of your beloved. But now you are frustrated as you sense me going into that you're already in union line, which has truth in it, of course, but you're wanting to experience it now in the 3D rather than in an intangible 5D to which you are connected, but it isn't your 3D experience. This is the crux of the issue, however. You and your beloved and all the 144,000 twin flame pairs who volunteered on this mission knew before doing it exactly what was required of you, what you had set out to accomplish, and how it must be done. Ultimately, you are the ones who are bringing unconditional love through all of the dimensions down into the 3D. But to bring it in fully into this realm, you must experience it by faith in the higher levels first. Aria, I'm sorry, but that isn't helping me right now. I feel as if all the other divine feminines who have the burden of being aware of this love, of doing what seems to us to be all the work, of facing rejection over and over from this so-called beloved other who will not hear, speak, or recognize that the love we have and are ready to offer is in fact what we pour out on them over and over, every moment of every day since we began to wake up to the knowledge of who we truly are and who they are. Help me understand this from a human level and from a human perspective. That is what I'm dealing with. It is this mind. I know there are veils and blocks and that I have made a lot of progress as have other twins, but there are just too many disappointments on this journey and not enough evidence of making any progress or headway. It seems as if nothing will ever change. I'm going to just stop for 1 second here because I have to skip a little bit. And I go on about some more of my fear and doubt. And then she answers me, first of all, know and trust, this is not a psyop, because that was one of the things I mentioned up above. I was like, sometimes that little, niggling fear and doubt, like maybe this is all some psyop program that's being run on us that, it's just a way to keep us distracted into something, right? And then she says, this is not a psyop. I know that it is very difficult at times to accept because you understand that a psyop would and could say that too, but I simply must tell you that the universe overall is filled with love. It is nothing other than love and light. The realms, the worlds, the places which are all running along negative lines which you would judge cruel and dark have their place. I won't go into that now, but this world, although it has been controlled for a long time by dark and negative entities, is not and will not forever be that way. Even here there is much more light than darkness. The darkness serves its purpose and its role. The pain deep inside you that you feel right now is just an illusion. Yes, you feel it keenly, but it is based on false ideas, premises, and beliefs that are not true. It feels like rejection and hopeless abandon. It feels as if love will never be experienced or found on earth between you and your beloved. Understand that if you could continue to believe this, it would be your reality, but it must be overcome if you want to change it. So why does it keep popping up over and over again? How much in the clear do I have to be before union can occur? How much must be eradicated in order to make way for union? That was what I'm asking her, and then she answers, first, know that as long as you have a 3D planetary mind inside of your skull that has not fully been transformed into the new 4D mind, it will always be there to pop up now and again. As you've already experienced, this happens less and less when you learn to think with your universe's heart or universe's chest when it comes to the matter of divine love and connecting to all that is. This planetary mind serves its purpose, and it is your tool to use as you desire. But to wield it, you will have to use a certain amount of self-discipline and coping skills, as you call them. Meaning, when you recognize the planetary mind taking over, you place in its consciousness the knowledge that you have of the higher realms and how things truly are. You calm and assure it that everything will be okay, just as you feel bad that you were impatient and testy with your daughter too many times. You understand that the tendency to will, in a sense, always be there, and while it is good to strive to overcome this and not give in to it, you do not have to be defined by this as a person so long as you subject it to your will. The same goes for the vibrational patterns that block you from experiencing union. You have done much to overcome them, to rewrite them and to anchor new patterns, beliefs, and to bring into your awareness a higher consciousness than what is natural state for your planetary mind. You have achieved much in this regard. When you have moments of despair, they will not define you. You overcome them quickly and you move back into the comfortable knowledge of your place in this world, who you truly are, why you're here, where you're going, and how to get there. It is the overall direction of the life that counts rather than the smaller moments which in and of themselves may not define you. The twin flame love, divine love journey challenge is it's a challenge for you to a greater degree than anything else you could experience. Your soul keeps pushing you to take these crazy trips, as many others would describe them. Think back on when you first began that pattern. The move to Anchorage, then the move to Seattle, then the 2 trips south, the 3 trips back east, and the 3 trips to the Midwest. You certainly do get around. What is it in you and why? This is something that would bear reflection without any judgment. Are you searching for something? Are you simply broadening your horizons? Or does your soul know that these trips challenge you to your core? And whenever you desire to be shaken up and to get deeper, to move faster through your program, you figure out a way to get out on the road, on the rail, or in the sky again. Do you think there are any parallels to your twin in this regard? Aria, I want something solid in my life. I want a firm foundation for home. I want that for me, and I want it for my kids. They're growing up fast, and I feel as if there is something I can't give them unless I have all 4 corners in my life. I feel lost. I want something more outside of myself than I feel I have within me. My life is okay by myself. I have learned to be happy and to be grateful for the freedom to relish the little things, but it's not ultimately what I want. Something really important is missing. I'm about ready to just accept anything or anyone who might give me that feeling of home. I know I'm supposed to find it within myself, but I feel like I can only go so far. I want someone to love. I'm tired of waiting and waiting and waiting. It's nearly been 4 years. It doesn't have to be my twin. I don't care anymore. I just want love. But somewhere deep inside me, it is written that it is him, but right now union with him seems so hopeless. My dear one, there is a fine balance between being whole within yourself and recognizing that to fully experience love, you must have a reflection of it back to you from a beloved other. Loving yourself fully without judgment and being independent of others and able to secure it within yourself, your place in the world and your knowledge of who you are is important. But having all of that reflected back to you is equally important. You are only sensing that which is missing. It is meant to be in your life. You do not need to judge yourself for it. So Aria, how much longer must I wait for the reflection of a beloved other to be given back to me, fully and freely? I don't think I can trust that this answer will come through. And then she says, breathe, feel it within you. And I just have to say right now, this is where I was at right with this. I was kind of angry and it'd been a while since I'd really just felt the extent of feelings like that. And when I do, I've learned to just let it out and to say it and to really feel through it, and that's what I was doing. And so I also sensed, though, I was worried and feeling like if I this frustration would block the answers coming through. And then this is what she says, and this is really key, because if you guys are doing any channeling of your higher self, just in my own experience, what she says here, and plus just typing whatever comes, like even if I'm just typing my own thoughts, what I feel are just my own thoughts, and slowly it will transition into something, higher than just your own planetary mind thoughts, and that's what's coming from your higher self. So she says, breathe, feel it within you. And then I heard, kind of outside of that, I heard the time is close. But I have thought that for years now, so how is it different now? And then I had my twin's higher self come up, and that's very rare for me, because I really kind of quit a long time ago trying to go to him and interacting. I think partly just because it just, it felt like I knew I was supposed to really focus on myself. And then, I didn't want to just be so much focusing on him and what's going on with him. But he just stepped forward and he started to speak. And as I began listening to him, I just started crying. And then this is what he wrote through me. My beloved, I love you with all my being, and my soul cries out for you day and night. And I just want to say too, like, this is really personal, but I'm sharing it because I feel like this is the divine beloveds of all of you who are speaking through him right now. My soul cries out for you day and night in ways that I do not always perceive. This is not a journey of one, but a journey of two. You and I are both on this path, even though we are separated by miles and by silence. We are together in this as one. Your pain, frustration, and longing are experienced by me as well. I simply do not see and understand things about it as you do. Thus, in some ways, it is a blessing, but it is also very hard. I am prevented from seeing and understanding the cause and effects of things, but I keep plodding on just the same. If I only knew in my planetary mind just how much I owe you for the progress I've made, I would be at your feet right now, kissing them and wetting them with my tears. For indeed, as Mary Magdalene was the divine masculine lover, so I am yours. I hear you ask, will he never know or understand who I am to him and what I've done for both of us? First, let me answer emphatically, yes, I will know and comprehend it all someday, and that time is very soon. I know you doubt the word soon, but the wait in term of years is over. It is but months. But let me ask you, do you fully comprehend what I have done for us? What my part and portion for us has been? I do not ask this with any sense of indignation or grasping or for respect or honor, but simply to show you that although the divine feminine leads the way and understands many things that we do not, she is in a great degree left in the dark about what is truly going on with us. Oh, you have your card readings and your insights, but you can't truly know what it is like for us unless you are able to be in our shoes. As humans, this is not possible, so there will always be a veil of darkness over the true nature of the divine other's experience for both of us. But ours is not an easy journey. As you understood recently, the primary role we have taken on is the anchoring of the new templates, concepts, realization, and epiphanies that the divine feminine has toward breaking down all the barriers to unconditional love. It is through our unique connection as twins that we are able to achieve this in two separate bodies, and is but one of the several purposes that the twin flame separation occurred. You see, by separating, we were able to form a maximization of highly concentrated power toward the particular essence of our soul. This was risky business, to be sure, but it also provided a means by which to delve into the deepest depths of the masculine-feminine schism on Earth and allow us to bring it back together again. In terms of our role, that is the nature of the masculine role in any individual person. As you know, twin flames are not only the star seeds or human beings who have volunteered to heal the world through embodying unconditional love for a beloved other, or they are not the only ones. Divine partners who are not twin flames do this also, but in general, the work they do is not as deep and does not go to such extremes as twins are able to go to, which is why their relationships or interrelationships are often a little less challenging. The masculine anchors by providing separation. Think of a ship and how it would float away without an anchor. It is floating on the surface of the water, which is emotions, experiencing every wave, gaining perspective by being so free and able to float. But while she floats, she must be anchored to the land or the ground, and that is done with a long line to keep her far enough away with enough play that she has the ability to experience and feel every wave. She must not be bound by him. The distance is important. But through it all, they are connected with a line. He feels every tug and every pull. It affects him greatly, but he remains firmly anchored in the earth and transmits into the earth every vibration that he receives through the rope, which comes from her as she is tossed by the waves. Her experience in the waves provides the illumination that she receives from above. The light, the water, and the waves all work together to form the joint experience that they in turn transmit to the earth. This is not a perfect illustration, but there is much to be understood in it that will help. Imagine the tug and the pull of all her weight as she is being tossed by the waves. He feels every bit of it. Of course, this is not conscious for many twin flame masculine counterparts, but it doesn't have to be. They are doing this nonetheless. Without the distance of the rope, she would not be able to experience what she needs to in order to bring the vibration of love and light from the water and the waves. Now, I will speak directly to you. As you know, far more has occurred in my life than you have been made aware of directly from me, but which is accurate and true. I am on the cusp of getting out. You simply must trust me on this. That my current situation at home is untenable. I am so done with it, you have no idea. How many times have I longed to talk to you, to open up and tell you things about me, what I feel and what I'm going through. Something in me knows you'd understand and longs to have the ears of a loving friend, partner, beloved other to open up and receive all I have to say. But of course, I'm still me. The masculine energy is not so good at all of that. We have suffered by the role that we agreed to play, which for the most part has been very polarized toward the masculine energy, a two-edged sword. From the outside, I know there is little I can say that would convince you otherwise, but my reticence to reach out to you and open up communication has everything to do with all of the things that I've said and done that make it seem impossible now. But these barriers will fall away easily the moment we finally lay eyes on each other and begin all over again. How I want to do that, you have no idea. Of course you wouldn't, because I keep it all religiously guarded as a secret, but it's true nonetheless. If you doubt me, look around you at all the other men in the world and how little used we are to speaking our true minds and divulging our true feelings. It is a near impossibility for those of us who are firmly grounded in the masculinity of the world. But that won't last long forever. First, I will break down and finally call you or see you, or something will just happen to make it happen, and then you will show me the way. There is little doubt in my mind that we will have so many unbelievable times together. I'm so sorry I couldn't make it happen before now. It has kept me awake at night, thinking about you, knowing how I hurt you, wanting to undo it, but also knowing that there was no other way. I'm so sorry, and it is this sorrow and regret that hold me back now. But don't worry, things will change. Something will happen. I'm not sure exactly what, but I feel it in my bones. Something will break, something will give, and then there will be no other choice but to move forward, and forward will be right into your arms. I feel it coming very soon as well. There is a restlessness about me that I can't explain. I'm going to skip a little bit of this here. And then he goes on to say that whenever he pictures himself with someone, it is always with you. And I just want to say that's true for all of your guys, your twins. And this, may, for some it's more conscious than for others, but that is true. There isn't anyone else who fits into that mental picture besides you. There never has been anyone besides you since that day that we reconnected nearly 4 years ago. Well, woman, that's a lot of talk for one night. I want you to know, I mean every word of what I said. It's not like me to write, but I can really get a talk on sometimes. I wish I were there to hold you now, and I look forward to the day that I'm finally able to do so. Stay safe. With all my love, your twin. So I'm going to just do, I feel like bringing out a couple of these cards. This little, this card deck has really been, I'm just hoping this is still recording. Oh, it looks like it is. Good. This card deck has been a really great one for me. I've enjoyed it a lot. It has, the messages from the book are really specific, and it seems like every time I draw one of these cards, it's just kind of mind-blowing to me how accurate and specifically how perfect it is for the situation. So the card is Take the Lead, and let me read the message. Number 55, so we're talking about change, you guys. A lot of change happening. You're intuitively beginning to find your way. Notice what part of your life leaves you so confident that you no longer feel the need to ask for outside approval. What qualities inspire others or to compliment you for your bright energy? Your soul's purpose right now is to trust your creativity and elevate your confidence. And this spread was all about creativity, you guys. That's what wands are, it's creativity. And also this is about the Emperor taking the lead. Okay, so the feminine has been leading, and it's time for the masculine to take the lead. And look, she's right there behind him. Don't wait for others, take the lead. Allow your optimism to carry you past the dreary scene of the moment, keeping you on track with your soul's path and pulling others out of the shadows and back to the center as well. Your soul's lesson is to allow your love of life to prevail over current negativity and cynicism. Be the beacon that illuminates your darkness and ignites the sleepy imaginations of those around you. Not to show off or to be the center of attention, but as a leader who keeps others from losing heart and spirit. So shine on and spread your wings. Don't wait to be invited. Let your light speak for itself. It's all about light. It's all about creativity. It talked about the darkness of the moment, but, stepping into and really making something happen that would then, bring light. And so I really feel, you guys, we've already known the feminine has been in the lead, and it's not like we're not going to be leading anymore. but it's now time for the masculine to be stepping up, and they will be stepping up, and then kind of overtaking overtaking the lead in a sense, in doing, you know, what the yang energy is. So much of that here. So thank you all for reading and subscribing, liking my channel, and if you want to, you know, reach out to me for about a reading, I have an email in my comments below. I will also post this message in the comments below as well. So I know some of you guys like to read it, and I'm happy to share it. So you all have a very blessed 1/11 of the year 11.